Max Kellerman delivered a powerful breakdown of the much-hyped Mayweather versus Crawford clash, stressing how their careers tell two very different stories. He argued that Floyd Mayweather built a glittering resume by carefully handpicking opponents to protect his unbeaten record, something that gave him status, but also drew heavy criticism. In contrast, Terence Crawford has never hidden from danger. He has always faced whoever was willing to step in front of him, proving his greatness time and time again without hesitation. Despite Floyd's historic legacy, Kellerman leaned toward Crawford, praising his fearlessness and relentless drive to test himself against the very best. To Kellerman, that willingness to walk into fire gives Crawford a true edge.
It's wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. That makes a difference to people.
Max Kellerman has questioned whether Floyd Mayweather really deserves the #1 spot on the pound-for-pound list. He admits Floyd's skill is extraordinary, but argues that pure technique alone doesn't crown the greatest ever. Kellerman highlighted Terence Crawford, who, like Manny Pacquiao, has conquered 4 different weight classes, a path defined by risk, ambition, and courage. Pacquiao's legacy was built on daring to climb divisions and dethroning champions. And Kellerman believes Crawford mirrors that same spirit. To him, greatness is not about clinging to an undefeated record, but about proving you can rise through divisions, embrace danger, and still come out on top.
No one has ever been a 4-division champion in boxing. Not a real one. Oh, Pacquiao won 8 and Oscar De La Hoya won 11 and this one won 15. No, I'm talking about Ring Magazine champ or lineal champ. You are the champion of that division. Manny Pacquiao was the first dude to really win 4. Floyd gets credit for 4 for beating Canelo, but that wasn't at the junior middleweight limit. I don't count that. I don't count that. Terence Crawford just joined Manny Pacquiao as the only legit 4-division champion in the history of boxing. And he did.
Kellerman went even deeper in his critique by pointing out that Mayweather's undefeated streak was carefully engineered. He explained how Floyd often chose opponents either past their peak or strategically less threatening. Early in his career, Mayweather's sharp defense and brilliance captured admiration. But as time went on, money and business seemed to guide his decisions more than legacy. Or Kellerman. The issue isn't whether Floyd was great, it's that his perfection felt more like a calculated plan than proof of absolute dominance. Fans, he argued, wanted to see Floyd truly tested, not just placed in fights where danger was carefully minimized.
Floyd was fighting everyone right up until the point where he started to make money. But as much credit as you get for making, the primacy of business, for making business your priority, well, that comes with trade-offs, because when you make business decisions constantly, sometimes your athletic achievements won't be regarded in the same way as if you made athletic achievements your priority. That said, Mayweather has accomplished a tremendous amount athletically. But the 3 fighters he didn't fight, Antonio Margarito, Manny Pacquiao, when he was obliterating De La Hoya, Hatton, and Cotto, and Shane Mosley when he still had something left. And while he will wind up fighting Pacquiao and Mosley, it'll both be, at the right time for Floyd. That said, what about at the right time Floyd? He's also ancient. A fighter approaching 40, fighting at the level Mayweather is fighting, is unheard of. Mayweather, until recent times, would be considered one of the greatest older fighters of that would be the whole story. Oh my God, can you believe how old Mayweather is? It was a little bit unfair to Floyd. Say, well, you're picking these guys at the right time. Floyd is old.
Kellerman's bold claim that Crawford might be the greatest pound-for-pound fighter alive sparked instant backlash. Many loyal Mayweather fans and analysts slammed him for elevating Crawford too quickly. But former UFC star Chael Sonnen stepped in to defend Kellerman's right to his view. Sonnen reminded the public that combat sports thrive on bold takes and passionate debates, and that Kellerman's perspective came from decades of carefully watching the sport evolve. To him, Kellerman wasn't being biased. He was simply recognizing greatness as he saw it. Sonnen's defense highlighted why such debates matter. They fuel discussion, passion, and keep the GOAT conversation alive in boxing.
I mean, Max really has earned the right to an opinion. And his current opinion is that Terence Crawford is the greatest of all time. Now, I will tell you, Max is a fan. I can relate to this. I got in there and I did the sport, and there are times that there is a credibility that will come along with me for having done the sport. But I'm the same as Max. I'm a fan. I stopped off and had a career doing it, but I started as a fan during my time in that career, and now I'm a fan. And Max was a little heavy on Canelo. Now, when I say it was a little heavy, it just surprised me as such an expert, as a guy that knows everything. I mean, Max knows the amateurs. He knows what Usyk did in the Olympic Games and the World Championships and the Golden Gloves before that, and he knows everybody else as well. I was a little surprised, if I'm being fair, at how much he thought Canelo was a great fighter. That part did surprise me. But just because Canelo has been beat doesn't mean he's not. It's interesting. Canelo's had some really hard fights, and by the way, he's had a lot of them. There's not usually a time in boxing where a guy can have anything but a 0 in his loss column, and the guy can still get over. Not only was that not the case, Canelo was valued just dollar and cents at 10 times more valuable than Crawford. Oh, by the way, Crawford is the only one that showed up with an undefeated record. And I must admit, some of those losses that Canelo had seem like the kind of thing that would really slow a guy down.
That Crawford may be chasing undisputed glory at middleweight was met with both excitement and doubt. After toppling Canelo Alvarez, the man once seen as untouchable, Crawford had little left to prove. Beating Canelo destroyed the myth that only size and raw strength could beat him. Analysts noted that Crawford could retire today and still be celebrated as a legend. Yet his decision to pursue undisputed status at 160 pounds reveals his hunger to keep pushing limits. If he pulls it off, he would join an elite class of fighters who never settled, proving that true greatness is measured not by what you've achieved, but by how far you're willing to keep climbing.
Anti-climaxing for him to drop back down because you already reached the height. You already slayed the giant. And essentially that's what Terence Crawford has already done. He slayed the giant, okay? Anything else he can do is going to be anti-climaxing. Nobody else he can fight. Canelo Alvarez is 63 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Canelo Alvarez is the face, or was the face, of the sport of boxing. Right? And you defeated him and outclassed him. Everybody expected you to get knocked out. It was a money grab. It wasn't realistic. And you achieved it. Right? There's nothing else you can do but one thing. And as I stated, you can put your crown so high on the pedestal, it's almost impossible to reach. And I stated that becoming undisputed in another glamour division in 2 fights, because it really doesn't matter who Terence Crawford fights at this point in time. There is no name that's going to garner him the traction and attention that he got from fighting Canelo. If he fights Ron Ennis, it's not going to do it. Virgil Ortiz, not going to do it. None of those guys, anybody would put against Canelo Alvarez and say that they would beat Canelo Alvarez. So now he would be expected to beat everybody. Okay. Sebastian Fundora, the Towering Inferno, because of the size difference, he's 6'6", 80 plus inch arm reach, right? At fighting at 154 pounds, that would be attractive.
When asked about boxing's greatest ever, Kellerman refuses to automatically place Mayweather at the top. While acknowledging Floyd's technical mastery, he argues that greatness demands more than perfection, and wealth it requires courage to take on risk without excuses. Icons like Muhammad Ali and Roberto Duran built their legacies by daring to face the most dangerous rivals regardless of timing or advantage. In Kellerman's eyes, Floyd never embodied that same spirit. He insists that legends are defined by risk, and that Crawford represents the fearless pursuit of greatness Floyd often avoided.
Rocky Marciano was 49-0 before Floyd got to 50-0. He was a heavyweight champ. Did anyone ever consider Rocky Marciano the GOAT? No, not seriously, no. Why would Floyd be considered the GOAT? Because he beat more fighters than Rocky did, more great ones? That's true. But really, Floyd was careful in the way he selected opponents. Don't get that twist. It's not that Floyd didn't fight a lot of great fighters. He did. It's not that I don't think he would have beaten a lot of the tougher fighters than he fought. I think he probably would have, but he didn't do it. He waited. He waited till Pacquiao wasn't at his best anymore. He didn't fight Margarito when Margarito was tearing everyone up. He waited for the right time to fight people. He got paid twice as much for fighting Pacquiao in a less dangerous fight than he would have had he fought him when everyone wanted to see him fight. Floyd is among the all-time greats, but he ain't number one.
British. Boxer Hamza Shiraz praised Crawford for the unique way he built his legacy. Shiraz emphasized that Crawford's rise combined complete dominance with the courage to face every top contender without hesitation. He described it as an honor to witness a fighter who doesn't just win but dismantles champions with precision and composure, making it look effortless. To Shiraz, Crawford's story carries a deeper lesson, that true greatness comes from chasing the hardest challenges, not dodging them. In this view, Crawford represents the purest essence of boxing excellence, inspiring fighters and fans alike around the globe.
Whack, like I was saying it, oh mate, I had it totally wrong. But it just goes to show how good Crawford is, you know what I mean? Especially being, 38? Something like that, yeah, 38. So listen, to do what he done in the manner he did it, moving up 2 weights, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest to do it, one of the greatest to set foot in it. You know what, it was an honour to watch himself and Canelo live ringside. So the outcome of it wasn't ideal, because if Canelo won, I would have been in line next, which is still the case, but just delayed a little bit. And I suppose it all depends what Crawford wants to do.
I saw a post from Umar actually, who put out before the fight, said, I really want my boy Hamza to win, but I think that Crawford will win. And I think a lot of people kind of possibly have seen that sentiment of they want him to win for you, but at the same time, a few people I spoke to picked Crawford to win.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it was a split of opinions, wasn't it? It was very, very divided. But then straight away when the first bell went, and I see Crawford run to the centre, grab centre, you know he weren't here to fuck around, man. And he just bossed it. I think I'll give Canelo no more than 4 rounds. But then at the same time, you've got to put yourself in Canelo's shoes. He's achieved everything he's needed to do in the sport. He's earned more than enough money, and he's still daring to be great. So as a fighter, as a fan, we can only appreciate that.